Hello dear readers. I hope you are enjoying listening to this book. Friends, this new chapter name is Aajeevika ke Badalte Parivesh. This is a very important part of the book and it can change your thought process. So let's start this chapter. Aajeevika ke Badalte Parivesh. Running your life smoothly is possible only with financial independence. While the modern lifestyle has provided us with a variety of convenience-generating equipment on the one hand, on the other hand, a major problem of their maintenance has also been presented as a liability. If an item is bought keeping in mind the convenience, then it always attracts our attention for its maintenance. There was a feature in the Indian way of life from time immemorial that we sada jivan uch vichar. Some intellectuals took it to mean that we should always stay away from luxuries. According to them, buying facilities is basically a waste of money and attracts attention towards luxuries. Some other sayings are in vogue for such intellectuals. Nach na jan ongan tara, that is, when there is no ability to achieve, then they make excuses against it. Na on man telephone hoga na rada nakagi, that is, if the facilities are not used at all, then the money will automatically be saved. Ek chana bod mi janka nahin jata. That is, if you do not have money then you should not run after facilities. There are so many proverbs in vogue which have been changed by some intellectuals from their meaning. Friends, want to present some examples before you. If we look at some incidents in history, the old Imambara located in Lucknow is prevalent in them, which is also known in the world by the name of Bhul Bhulaiya. There is a strange story related to its construction. Once in Lucknow the livelihood of the people was disrupted due to a natural calamity. Procuring resources had become a complex problem for them. Most of the people were not able to supply even the basic needs. A wealthy person from Lucknow made a special action plan. He ordered his huge land to be dug up to help the people financially. In the evening, all the people who were doing the work of digging were given the financial benefit of their labor. At night other people were given the task of filling the same pit. They were also given financial benefits for this. This work continued like this for some time. By doing this, the economic condition of many people became normal. After this, they handed over the task of building the wall with them to another working class. They used different types of pulses like arhar, masur, mung, etc. to build the wall. Along with this, lime etc. were also used. All this work was also paid for. Slowly a base went on being prepared. This base was converted into a structure named Bada. Bada is such an arrangement where religious or saintly people take rest. After this he arranged a place for his particular community in which the laborers were assigned other work. At that place a mound was first made by the soil collected from the excavation. A mosque was also built just above it. This whole construction period took many years, but under this scheme the economic condition of the common citizens had already improved. Actually, we cannot authenticate the truth of this incident, but want to keep the context of the incident only that if the option of economic progress is basically available, then it becomes easy for the general public to get their livelihood. Apart from this, we will also share another incident with you which is a very big incident in America. We get this incident from the background of America. Abraham Lincoln was the second president of America. When he took this title, the economic condition of America was not good at that time. Lincoln wanted to work on a plan that would help him control the system of his country without any special economic loss. He discussed the matter with his chief advisor. Lincoln was surprised to hear about the plan that his chief advisor told him. When he contemplated on this, he got an idea that his country can get immense potential in this. Lincoln had understood that if the currency becomes available to the general public, then the situation there can be better than normal. He started a new economic base in America. Under this, he started manufacturing new currency in his own country. For the general public, he has set tasks under big and small schemes, through which he can reawaken the livelihood of his life. Within a few months of doing this work, America's economic conditions started getting stronger than before. When India's great revolutionary era man respected Sri Subhash Chandra Bose formed the Azad Hind Fauj, he had to strengthen it in its capacity. For this, he expressed his desire to meet the most powerful ruler of that time, whose name was Adolf Hitler. He was successful in his efforts and met Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler already used to give utmost respect to Subhash Chandra Bose. That's why his gift was considered very good. When Subhash Chandra Bose ji wanted to know the secret of his power from Adolf Hitler, Adolf Hitler told him, "If you understand the potential of money, you can do anything." Its direct meaning was extracted that Subhash Chandra Bose ji started manufacturing a new currency called Azad Hind. Azad Hind Fauj got a wonderful power from this posture, due to which all the plans of the British government were made royal. Friends, through these three incidents, I want to tell you that whatever may be the source of livelihood of a person, but he must get respectable economic benefits. In general, respectable economic benefits can always be obtained from ethical actions. But there is a contradiction in most of the youth regarding the fact that why only we should see moral and immoral in front of them when a person appears to be working hard who gets very little money. On the other hand, some people earn money by doing unwanted work. Most of the youth do not understand this distinction. According to the received statistics, every year about 90 lakh boys and girls in India leave for the market for livelihood after completing their education. If the whole of India is seen from the point of view of employment, then only 25 lakh government and non-government employment options are available. Government and private organizations are not able to provide additional employment. Such a large number of people who do not get employment are either forced to work on minimum income, or choose some such routes which are unethical. The main reason for this is the backward nature of the Indian education system. In this education system only and only book knowledge is served, but proper standards of livelihood are not taught. For example, no matter what your level of education is, when you try to understand the financial market, you will feel cheated. That is, whether you are a doctor, an engineer, an administrative service officer, or a common citizen, your financial status will be determined only by your financial certificates. This means that your entire education will be of no use to you when it comes to looking at yourself in any financial perspective. Whether you are a common man or belong to the elite category, you will need a financial force to get anything out of the market. Its biggest deficiency is seen in the Indian education system. Even after being the largest republic of the world, India always remains in a state of concern regarding its financial figures. A false statement is prevalent in the Indian environment that Indian population growth is the biggest hindrance to progress here. But this thing is hidden when India is seen as the biggest market in the world. A direct indication of this comes out that elephants' tusks are different for showing and different for eating. Financial qualification is not emphasized in the Indian education system. As a result, youth try to use the market like an illiterate even after being educated. Most of the students do not understand the real chapter of livelihood due to lack of understanding of financial sector. More than 80% of the areas in India are such where citizens are providing their services even after earning minimum income. If we talk to an intellectual on this subject, He will explain it by linking it to the skills of the youth. But the cause of every fact does not point towards only one direction. Basically, the main reason behind it is very different. Renovation of India's education system is linked to modernization. Modern lifestyle is basically necessary, there can be no comment about it. In fact, there is such an equation that educational institutions are not able to use fully in their curriculum. Financial information is required to be provided in all educational institutions. In India, such an intellectual sector provides its services, through which it is specially said that every youth should not provide their services by being subordinate to anyone. But this class is not able to tell what are the basic needs of an individual if he wants to build a platform for his livelihood. Mainly 4 pillars are required to build any platform. These 4 pillars are seen from resources, communication system, methodology, and diligent service personnel. The process works in 2 dimensions. Firstly, the work of taking the product from raw material to its final form, and secondly, the economic cost incurred on it. Whenever an item is manufactured, its producer determines its value keeping in mind many types of points. Some things have to be taken into account for determining its value, in which the cost of raw material, the cost of transporting it to the producing area, the cost of production, and the cost of transporting the finished goods to the market. Apart from this, the cost of basic amenities like healthcare of service personnel, pure water, electricity, local sanitation, etc. is also added. In addition to all this, government service tax is specially added. After adding all these, the actual amount of the item is determined after adding the special expenses of the distribution system such as publicity, media, traffic system, security-related rules, and the profit of each person serving in this whole system. The amount that is finalized in this whole arrangement is known as the maximum selling fee. When so much attention is paid to a product, then we have to understand which are the 4 pillars within the educational system on which we have to pay special attention. The 4 pillars which are basically talked about in every educational system are Gyan, Yoga, Dharna, and Seva. Can be understood as knowledge means the purpose of our getting education. Yoga means the real method of achieving it. Perception means the art of using it realistically. Service means what should we get after using it. Out of these 4 pillars, we are basically given only 2 pillars in the summary. In our education system, the purpose of getting education is not explained to us in the right sense. We are forcefully urged to do yoga without purpose. In such a situation, our perception tells us the way to go towards the hollow future. Only this is told in the form of service, that the more you wear it, the more service you will get. That is, we do not get the exact knowledge of what we should get in the form of service. The conclusion is that when we step from our educational field to the business field, we do not know our main cost and we start looking at the market like a beggar. The way a beggar requests the person standing in front of him to get anything according to his wish. In the same way a youth appears before the concerned institution for an arrangement called job. The concerned organization takes full advantage of our foolishness and makes us work like laborers while giving us gifts as a donation, where we have to give our services. We start working using our labor mind. Service is a religion, but for this attainment should also be fixed. Keeping our livelihood in mind, we may also have to sell our services. We all should keep one thing in our mind, that every person in the society can donate or sell their services in one way or the other. But if there is minimum economic benefit as opposed to service, which we call salary, then it basically becomes a question mark for our future. When we start sharing our services for our livelihood, then at that time we should know our real worth. To know this real value, we need to know the money spent as an investment in our entire education period. To know the full investment, we should know that what is the present fee from our primary education till the last level of education. It may happen that when we started our education, the amount of fee was much less than it is now, but at present we have to evaluate the same amount which is being used for equal education. It is possible that the same fee may have been ours now. For example, today no matter which school you get your education from, the average fee for a student from class 1st to 12th comes to 5,000 rupees per month. Now if it is added for 12 years, then this amount will come to 12 times 5,000. Any sum of this will come to 720,000 rupees. Apart from this, the same amount of fees is spent on each student, in which his food, clothes, etc. are included. That is, or the whole amount will become 14 rupees, 40,000. If we talk about the money market, then an equal amount has to be reserved for it. The total amount of money comes to 28 rupees, 80,000. If seen in the form of financial equations, we can assess it only in the form of market price. For example, when we eat food at our home, we eat that food very calmly. If we eat the same food in any restaurant or hotel etc., then we have to pay almost 5 times the cost of that food. In the same way, we evaluate the use of each item by adding our personal expenses and the market price and calculate their average. This type of financial advice is never provided to us by our educational institutions. In such a situation, we do not get the financial inspiration to build our future properly even from the market. In such a situation, our misuse takes place in the form of exploitation by paying minimum wages in the market and making us work maximum. By the time we understand these figures, our mindset has lost its independent spirit. Our life as a slave mentality has taken control of our lifestyle. In such a situation, we are forced to accept our livelihood in the form which we are seeing today basically as the reality of our society. In such a situation, we come under the influence of some intellectuals who try to take us to a dream world by showing negative attitude towards our services. In the beginning, we start imagining our life with these imaginary things as truth. But with the passage of time, it becomes clear to us that imagination is imagination after all, and it has no special relation to reality. We feel tired. We are forced to think where exactly the fault lies. Millions of people like us fall victim to this type of mindset. Our seriousness towards our livelihood starts manifesting as a fear. We are given such an impression that if you want to get your livelihood in the right sense, then you have to make efforts in a different direction. But we ourselves also know that our life can never be run by imagination. There are only 5% of people who learn to turn this fantasy into reality, but most people leave this fantasy lifestyle forever. Along with this, he also tries to forget or kill his every thought which is encouraging him. If our educational level is made full of financial health, then this type of environment will never take birth. We will get an easy way for our livelihood and we will get our financial freedom easily. Now from here we will reveal that reality in front of you which will present a transparent clarity in your life. Basically, we should know what are the real sources of livelihood and how we have to be educated to get them. First of all, we need to understand our basic needs. For these, we should have knowledge of the sources from where they can be bought or obtained. We should also know how much is spent on these per day or per week. After this, monthly expenses should be worked out by adding the expenses of all the members of the family according to per person. We should know how we can earn partial expenditure. This small equation can provide a very large-scale basis to our life. After this, we should have knowledge of the resources available at our place of residence which provide us convenience. We should also write down the average maintenance cost for them. Basically, we should know about all the areas of our residence, how much monthly expenses can be incurred in which area. After this, an average expenditure limit will be available to us. We should know the source of how we are able to earn this expenditure limit at present. We should also know about the available resources and other necessary resources. In addition to our basic needs, we should know the total cost of making life happy and enjoyable. Once we have an average estimate of the monthly expenses of our place of residence, we need to check what is the current monthly income of the family. If the ratio of the monthly expenditure received to the available financial sources is the same, then there is no special need to change the range of our thinking. If the expenses are less than the income, then assume that your life is going on in a healthy manner. In fact, if we look at the survey of the world, it is very difficult to find an average. Because according to modernization, if the facilities are linked to the happiness of the individual, then a large section of the society is earning money in their basic livelihood. Much less than the expenses. A common man has no idea about how to strike a balance between expenditure and income. In India, courses specifically under financial education are available at a bare minimum. The basic objective of all the courses related to financial subjects in India is to give a direction to the management and accumulation of money according to the market. No one has the information about how our expenses can be used in a safe and balanced way. Whenever we try to look at livelihood very seriously, we do not directly see such points which we can control and balance according to our livelihood. You read the previous chapter titled Needs, Wants, and Dreams. I had to know that we really do not have the ability to think maturely in these three directions only. In such a situation, we can never balance our expenses. Real financial education is available only with some special level of people in India who are taking full advantage of it and also making proper use of all kinds of resources. In fact, livelihood does not remain that important when our expenses go on increasing with time. If we look carefully in the changing environment of the time, then it is not necessary that there should be an increase in our livelihood in any form. Every person gets equal life every day. He gets only a total cycle time of 24 hours. In those 24 hours, there are only a few people who make use of a variety of financial equations apart from their source of livelihood. In the new century, business houses have presented examples of some new words regarding livelihood. Under this, livelihood is divided into two categories. The first is the economic benefit received as a result of the service. Secondly, financial benefits to you and your family as per the time even after the service. In business language, the first side is called active, i.e. active livelihood, and the second side is called passive, i.e. passive source. These are also called direct and indirect monetary benefits in another language. Most of the people of the world easily use the primary source of livelihood. Under this, when you work, you get money as a result of it. But when you are no longer able to work, or retire, your sources of income are almost gone. If you retire from a government or large organization, you probably get a retirement allowance. In India, only 2.5% of the people who come in this type of category get money even after inactivity on June. All other classes are forced to push life. In such a situation, every person is always worried about those areas which make him financially worried. There is no such practice prevalent in the society which can take care of all these in true sense. When it comes to indirect or passive livelihood, the options are available to us. Their actual information is available at the lowest level. It is considered necessary to have more than one source of our livelihood. Every person tries for his livelihood at his own level. It does not always happen that a person is working only for money. But even after that, money gain is a natural thing. A large section of the Indian society uses their services only for monetary gains. For this, he always keeps searching for new options. Such a mindset is prevalent in the society that if the current source ends, how will the livelihood be? To get rid of this fear, most of the people of the society try for additional options from their income. There is actually a huge amount of additional options available as well. But all demand a special training for themselves. The level of Indian education is not so intense in which students can be made aware of this. As a result, after touching each option, when time is spent on it, its reality is revealed. It really just remains a matter of experiment. Today the society has been basically computerized. If we look at the future market, it seems clear that the normal sources of livelihood for a common man will be almost finished in the future. Whatever options your education provided you to exercise, the change in the market will not allow you to stand still for long. This changing environment of livelihood is forcing us to think of such an approach in which even if special renovation is not done, the person's life goes on smoothly. It should be such an option in which no crisis of any kind arises even after life for the safety of life. This option has been initialized. Just need to draw your attention. We will discuss the topic, rich mentality, with you in the next chapter. After which we will also give you a detailed description of the options. I am heartily grateful to you for reading this chapter to this level. If you would like to have a copy of this book, go to the link in the description and fill out the form. Friends must subscribe this channel and also press the bell button. Please do share the sound flow of the book with 5 of your friends. So now see you in the next chapter.